What's going on, guys? CTG Matt back. Is it just me, or does it feel like so many NBA players have a real stake in a claim to win the Most Improved Player award this year? If you go look at the voting right now, there's at least 6 to 8 guys that you could justifiably make a claim that they should win the award. Well, today, guess what? I have over 10. That's right, I have like 12 players, I think it is, that I think could really vie for the Most Improved Player award. Obviously, only one's going to win, but it is fun to look at some other guys who've improved this year and say, hey, these guys deserve some shine too. Let's go. There's no particular order to this at all. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. The first player I want to talk about is Dillon Brooks from the Phoenix Suns. Again, this is a guy who I don't think is going to win the award, but he has had some strides and improvements this year. It's definitely interesting to watch. Dillon Brooks has been the same old Dillon Brooks this season. He still is trying to agitate the opposing team's best player. He's basically the NBA's best rage baiter, actually. But he is averaging a career-high 18 shot attempts per game. 18 for Dillon Brooks feels a little bit high, but he's been doing pretty well with them. That includes 7.5 threes per game as well. And with that increase in shot attempts came an increase in production. The guy's averaging 22 points per game with 3 rebounds and 2 assists. He's shooting 44 from the field, 31 from 3, and 83 from the free throw line. Now, the splits aren't the prettiest, I can assure you of that, and you know that, but the volume's way up, and the Suns have desperately needed creators with Jalen Green only playing like 1.5 games. I don't even think Jalen Green's played 48 total minutes this season. So, with Jalen Green being out and the Suns needing more on-ball creators, guess what? Dillon Brooks is getting 18 shots per game, whether you like it, I like it, or anybody else likes it, and he's done relatively well with them. Dillon Brooks has an ugly game. Full disclosure, let's just call a spade a spade. Dillon Brooks has a very ugly offensive game. His jumper looks like he shoots with one hand, and dribbling the ball is kind of funny for him, but occasionally he can really put together a tough set of moves. It really gives you flashbacks to Oregon. His jump shot's hideous, his ball handling isn't the prettiest, but guess what? He's getting the job done. He's also the type of guy that'll score like 4 to 6 straight points and immediately press the opposing team's star player. Did it against the Lakers the other day. He kept poking LeBron and poking LeBron. Obviously, LeBron got the last laugh, but he makes games entertaining, to be honest with you. God forbid he hits a clutch shot. Now all of a sudden he might press your coach. I mean, he's in people's faces every other minute in these games. He's a hell of a defender, and on top of that now, he's getting more shot opportunities, and he's making it work. He's averaging 22 a game, guys. That's pretty damn good considering he's never been a 20-a-game guy in his career. Like I said, he's not going to win the Most Improved Player award, but I think he still has a claim to at least be called one of the most improved players in the NBA this season. He's a good culture setter and a locker room presence. He's a guy that helped the Suns build up this culture, and they're kind of just having fun. The Suns are a team of vibes right now. Friendship, vibes, and winning games. They're doing it. He's a guy that Suns fans love. The opposing team's fans do not love. He's a guy who really is good at making people mad. He plays the villain real well. That's the reason his nickname's Dillon the Villain. I'm really happy to see him do well, scoring the ball specifically. Although the efficiency's not there, he's still scoring the ball well enough and leading them to victories for a team that wasn't really expected to do much. Kind of happy to see Dillon Brooks do well, but we can move on. Up next, I got Michael Porter Jr. from the Brooklyn Nets. MPJ has been on fire recently. The guy's averaging over his last 5 games about 30 points per game. He had a streak of 4 straight 30-plus point games going. On the season as a whole, MPJ is averaging 26 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists per game, while shooting 50-40-82 splits. If he could make his free throws more consistently, he'd be a 50-40-90 candidate right now. People criticize the Brooklyn Nets draft strategy this summer of drafting just strictly playmakers, but I guess when you're playing with Michael Porter Jr., it turns out it works relatively well because it keeps him active as a catch-and-shoot guy and a guy coming around screens. Although it's not to the same volume it was in Denver, MPJ is averaging 5.7 catch-and-shoot 3 attempts per game. Looking good on those attempts too. He's shooting 42% on almost 6 catch-and-shoot attempts per game. The guy is one of the best pure shooters in the NBA. I think we all knew MPJ's box score was going to take a tick up going to Brooklyn, considering there wasn't many scoring options to go with him. But recently, the Nets have actually been winning games, and his efficiency's been impressive. For a guy going to his new situation where he's now the first option after being like the 3rd to 4th option at times last season, he's become a really good first option. And again, he's come off back surgeries, leg surgeries. This guy's been through the ringer, and he's still making it work. MPJ is averaging 9 threes per game and is shooting 40%. He's making good on all those attempts he's been given. The Nets' offense per 100 possessions is 11 points better with MPJ on the floor. That's in like the 95th percentile. He's still not a great defender, but at least he's grading out as kind of average defensively in his new situation. MPJ has definitely helped the Nets win games recently, and that's really interesting to see because they were not a very good team over the last month, but this month they've been a little bit better. He's been the Nets' best player, and on top of that, he looks like the player he did in high school almost. You see a little bit of flashes here and there. There's not as much athleticism in his game, but the jumper is always going to be there. He's always going to be one of the best shooters in the NBA. Again, basically six catch and shoot threes per game, and he's shooting over 40%. That's unreal. If MPJ could stay away from the podcasting equipment, Lord knows what his ceiling could be. I have no idea the plans Brooklyn has for him. He could be traded this offseason. He could be traded at the deadline. He might not get traded, period. They could view him as a future piece. I really like MPJ. What he's done this season has been really impressive, going from, like I said, the third to the fourth option to the first option and still keeping that 40% efficiency mark. Again, MPJ is not a guy that I would say is going to win the Most Improved Player award, but he's another player that's really interesting to watch. He's taken a step up, and on top of that, he's done it efficiently. You don't often see that. Up next, I have Kyshawn George from the Washington Wizards. He's already so good. Just imagine what he could do if he wasn't a walking personal foul. George is averaging 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists per game with a steal and a block per game as well, and the shooting splits are still really good. He's shooting 47 from the field, 44 from 3, and 75 from the line. 44% from 3 is, quite frankly, unreal. Kyshawn George last season was considered one of the worst offensive players in the NBA. He shot 37, 32, 75 splits. He shot 37% from the field. He was considered one of the worst offensive players in basketball, and he's turned it around into becoming a almost 45% three-point shooter. Kyshawn averages 3.2 catch and shoot threes per game. He's shooting 50% on them. That's just unreal. That's unheard of efficiency. The positives you could take from Kyshawn George's rookie season was he was a really good defender, just really bad offensively. Now that he's fixed up his offense and become a consistent contributor, guess what? That defense is still there. The defense is still there, a steal and a block per game. The only thing that takes him down a little bit is he's averaging 4.2 fouls per game. That leads the league, considering Walker Kessler's done for the year now. Kyshawn George now leads the league in fouling. If Kyshawn George can figure out how to stop hacking, guess what? He'd be one of the toughest players in the NBA. He already is really good, but if he could stay on the court, it'd be a big difference. Currently in Washington, there's not many players helping him out right now, to be frank with you. Look around that roster, there's not a lot of guys that complement his skill set, but he's figuring out how to still be productive regardless. He's averaging 5 assists per game too. He's one of their best playmakers while being one of their most consistent scorers and their best spot-up shooter and their best defender. It is insane how many holes he's filling in that Wizards roster right now. And they only have 3-4 wins. Without Kyshawn George, they might have 0. Again, another guy that I don't think is going to win Most Improved Player, but he definitely deserves some respect because he's taken a step up on a roster that genuinely does not fit him whatsoever. He has been the standout on this vanilla-ass Wizards experience, I'll call it, because they're not really a good basketball team. We're going right back to Phoenix. Did you miss the Suns? We have Collin Gillespie. This is one that I really love. Can I be frank? This is one that I'm biased toward, that I want to see him get more votes for Most Improved Player. I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to get more votes for Most Improved Player. But I love Collin Gillespie. Gillespie's become a really solid player. He spent the first 2 years of his career kind of bouncing around, whether it was kind of just rotting on benches or barely getting any PT. Last year, he got some PT, and he made good on it. I think I remember a Clippers game last year, Suns vs. Clippers, where he started showing hey, this could be a real feature player. You go back to his year in Denver, he kind of just rotted on the bench. He didn't play, right? He comes to Phoenix and he finds a nice little niche, a nice little hole for himself that he could fill. Gillespie's always been a good three-point shooter. Even going back to college, this guy was productive, but the Suns have allowed him to just become a full-on bomber. He's averaging 7 threes per game and shooting 43%. Gillespie's averaging 5 assists per game as well, with less than 2 turnovers per game. That's over a 2-to-1 assist ratio, which is pretty damn good considering he's the backup point guard. Well, now he's starting some games, but he came off the bench to start. He's also averaging a shade over 1 steal per game as well. Gillespie's become a really solid defender who can hold his own in one-on-ones, but I think the real difference in his game is the fact that he's just playing with more confidence and the ability to make mistakes. You know, your first few years in the league, you don't want to make a mistake because then you're worried you're going to be rotting on the bench. Collin Gillespie was rotting on the bench anyways. Now he's playing like a guy that has nothing to lose. That's because he doesn't have anything to lose. This Phoenix Suns team, it's just a bunch of guys playing on house money. Gillespie fits into the Suns culture really well, of a bunch of gritty guys who kind of just were castaways in different spots. Like I said, Collin Gillespie was in Denver for a full season, and he might have played 5 games. That's it. he wasn't given much of an opportunity. He finds his way to Phoenix, and he finds a little niche for himself. I love to see it. A nice little pit bull, fiery point guard who makes his threes. He had a big shot the other night for them against the Lakers. I believe it was a corner three with like a minute left. It was a really big shot. Collin Gillespie can make plays happen, whether it's passing, shooting the three ball, or getting downhill. Collin Gillespie checks the boxes of a lot of things you want in a pure point guard. He kind of reminds me of a pure point guard, like a Kenny the Jet Smith type of guy. Of course, Kenny the Jet Smith did a dunk contest. If Collin Gillespie did a dunk contest, it'd be a layup contest. But I love Collin Gillespie, but he does remind me of like a Kenny the Jet Smith type. A point guard that can get you a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 assist turnover ratio, shoot the three ball well, and just be a good complementary piece on the roster. A traditional point guard is what I like to say. Except Collin Gillespie, sneaky athletic, real lunch pail to work kind of guy, blue collar. You know what I'm saying. I love Collin Gillespie. Like I said, I think he should get more votes for most improved player. Again, I don't think he's going to win just because his box score numbers aren't per se gaudy, but he is having a spectacular season. I mean, he's only averaging like 13.5 points per game, but again, he still deserves a ton of respect considering it was like it was closer to 0 his first year in the league, I believe. His first year in the league, he averaged 3.5. Last season, he averaged 6, and then he jumps all the way up to 13. That's just good production right there out of a true point guard. Another Villanova guy who comes to the league, waits a few years to blossom, and then becomes a really quality player. I liked Kyshawn George so much that now we're going to talk about another George, Keyonte George. Now we're getting closer to the guys who could actually win the award. Keyonte's a walking bucket. He's obviously not perfect though, but he has certainly gotten better from last season to this season. Keyonte's currently averaging 23 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds per game, with a steal per game. On some kind of pedestrian shooting splits, let's be honest with each other, shooting 44 from the field, 34 from 3, 91 from the free throw line. He has become very good at drawing fouls and becoming adept at getting to the free throw line. His defense, still very rough, very bad. The Jazz defense is roughly about 14 points better per 100 possessions with Keyonte off the floor. So they're way better defensively with Keyonte off the floor. Offense for the Jazz is 6.5 points better with Keyonte on the floor. So he really helps the offense churn out production while he's on the floor, but he doesn't really get as much credit because defensively, he's still kind of suspect. The one thing that has become apparent about Keyonte's game is that he can score specifically in the mid-range. He attempts 51% of his shots in the mid-range, and he shoots 47% on those attempts. Very efficient. Enough for the 82nd percentile. That's pretty damn good efficiency out of the mid-range for a 6'2" guard. He still maintains a good enough 68% shooting percentage at the rim as well, so he keeps defenders honest, albeit it's on limited attempts because he doesn't get downhill and get to the rim that often, but he can finish around the rim. He's very crafty. What he really earns his money with, though, is the mid-range shots. He's money in the mid-range. My view on Keyonte George is if his efficiency ticks up, you're talking about a lead guard on your team for the foreseeable future. A guy who can really help lead an offense, and a guy who can really be a much-needed scoring punch for this team later on. The worst thing I see in Keyonte George at this point, the floor, six man who can lead your team in scoring while also be your leading assist man. Like, I see a high floor for Keyonte George compared to what I saw last season. He's become a much more well-rounded scorer, and like I said, getting to the free throw line has become a big thing for him. He's become really good at it. I think the shooting splits are the one thing holding him back from being a real candidate for most improved player, but again, regardless, this season has proven a lot of people, including me, wrong about Keyonte George. I think I had him as one of the 3 to 4 worst point guards in the NBA going into this season. He's going to be shooting up that list come next season. Much respect to him. Mid-range assassin as a point guard. We love to see it. Up next, we have Nickeil Alexander-Walker from the Atlanta Hawks, formerly the Minnesota Timberwolves. Over his career, Nickeil has had 2 seasons of averaging over 10 points per game. This season, Nickeil is averaging 20. Actually, he's averaging 21 points per game, to be more exact. And he's shooting 47 from the field, 39 from 3, and 86 from the free throw line, while still being a pretty solid defender. There's times where he looks like his cousin, the other Alexander in the league, Gilgeous Alexander, actually. He gets so low to the ground, just like Shea does. They drive to the basket, and it's like they're this close to the ground. They're both like 6'6". I don't know how they both get so low to the ground when they're driving to the basket, but they figured out how. Also, Nickeil has also figured out how to get to the line. much like Shai. He still shows his 3-and-D role player skill set every once in a while. He shoots 51% on corner threes, but now he's also added the fact that he's shooting almost 70% at the rim, and his effective field goal percentage is 57%. That's elite. In his new role in Atlanta, he's become like an on-ball scoring threat, which wasn't something I expected. When he signed there, I think we all anticipated he'd be a complementary piece for Trae Young and the other guys. Well, with Trae Young out, Nickeil's taken up that on-ball point guard scoring role, and he's done really, really well with it. Coming into this season, Nickeil Alexander-Walker had 23 total games of scoring 20 or more points in his NBA career. This season alone, he's had, I believe, 14. He's definitely getting closer to breaking that total than he has over his NBA career. He's been really impressive scoring the damn ball when they've needed somebody to do it desperately without Trae Young. So he's shown that he can score with the ball. He's shown that he can score at the rim. He's shown that he can still shoot corner threes and just in general behind the arc, even though his above the break three isn't as efficient. But either way, he's shown that he can really be a feature scorer on this team. I don't think 21 a game is going to stick for him, but still 17 to 18 would be really, really solid. It's been really fun to watch the Hawks without Trae Young, and Nickeil is a big part of that. Him, Jaylen Johnson, Zach Reaves, Shai, Onyeka, like those guys have really balled out without Trae Young and shown that they can kind of carry the load at times. And Nickeil's been a big reason why. He's been kind of a consummate point guard that they've really needed. And again, he's averaging 21 points per game for a guy that last season didn't average 10. I believe last season he averaged like 9.5, 9.7, and he's doubled that. He's doubled his scoring average from last season. If that doesn't deserve most improved player votes, I don't know what does. Doubling your scoring average should get you some votes. Up next, Josh Giddey, Chicago Bulls. Giddey's obviously having his career season. I think everyone's talked about him at this point. He's averaging 20.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 9 assists while shooting 48, 40, 75 splits. It's really confusing how some of these guys are 40% three-point shooters but can't crack the 80s for free throws. Much like some other players that are coming up on this video, Much like some other players that are going to come up in this video, Josh Giddey's been terrific in the full court. Like, he runs the break better than a lot of other players do. He's one of the best at leading the fast break. He wasn't good in the half court his first few years in the league. He's kind of figured out how to do that, though. One of his biggest issues was the fact that he struggles to finish around the basket and at the rim specifically. He still does. Absolutely. Still does. But he shoots 61% at the rim. That's good enough for the 37th percentile, which, fine enough. Sure. He shoots 41% in the mid-range. That's the 39th percentile. Still not that efficient. But one thing he has figured out how to do, he's figured out that little crab dribble, how to get a defender behind him. Even though he's not the fastest or the strongest, he knows how to work angles. Yes, he's figured out how to absolutely trap the defender behind him in pick and roll coverage. It makes the defense practically helpless, and whatever shot he wants, he can get. He just has to make it. His jump shooting taking a tick up as well has been really impressive, knocking down 40% of his threes at over 4 per game. That's really good efficiency on a career high for both, a career high for percentages and a career high for attempts. Giddey's a really unique offensive player. A ton of jump hooks in his game. He loves the sweeping layups. He loves floaters. While not being fast, athletic, strong, quick, he doesn't really fit any of those boxes. I wouldn't even call him really athletic. I think that's fair. But what he has figured out is the smart way to play the game without needing that type of stuff. The Chris Paul way, almost. Josh Giddey will be getting votes for most improved player if I had to guess. He's leading the Bulls to a mid record. They're mid. That's just what they are. But it's really not Josh Giddey's fault. Doesn't have much of a running mate this season except for like Kobe White. And Vooch is now hurt. Giddey's having a spectacular season, though. I don't want to take anything away from him. I just don't think he's going to win the award, but the guy's almost averaging a triple-double. It's pretty cool. Now we're really starting to get into the heavy hitters. We have Jaylen Johnson. Jaylen Johnson's been a most improved player candidate for what feels like the last 3 years now. He's finally getting the ability to take that step up now, though. Last season was obviously cut short due to injury, so I can't really fault him there. This season, he's really reached his potential. He's averaging 23, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists while shooting 53, 39, 81 splits. Pretty damn good. Almost a triple-double as well. He is amazing on the break and getting downhill, like I mentioned about Josh Giddey earlier. Jaylen Johnson really gets downhill. He's really damn big, too. He's a freight train in the front court, kind of like a Paolo build. Jaylen Johnson is also shooting 74% at the rim. Incredible efficiency, 74% at the rim. He's making 3/4 of his shots at the rim. But his bag in the half court has deepened. He's become better at having more counter moves, whether it's a spin move or a Euro step. He's really figured out how to score in the half court and break down his man beyond just in a full court sprint. His three-point shooting started off rough this season. Through the first 10 games of the year, Jaylen Johnson shot 27% from 3. But over the last 13 games, he's now up to 44%. The guy's become a 40% three-point shooter basically just because of the last 10 to 15. His playmaking's gotten better without Trae Young. He went from 5 assists per game last season to 8 assists this season, and he's only added about half a turnover per game as well. He's become a really efficient passer, to boot with the fact that he's now an efficient scorer, an efficient shooter, and a great rebounder. He checks every box. The man's really a jack of all trades. This season alone, Jaylen Johnson's had 6 games of 10 or more assists. That's incredible for a wing. A wing. He's not a guard. He just handles the ball a lot. And he knows how to make the read, the necessary read. He knows how to deliver the drop-off pass. He knows how to hit the corner shooter when he drives downhill. He's really become good at finding the reads that he needs to, getting the ball to where it has to go, and his teammates are cashing in on that. He also currently, I don't know if he still has it as this video comes out, but he had a 4-game triple-double streak. It may be at 5 now. 4, maybe 5 games of triple-doubles is insane production. Again, he's been a most improved player candidate for a few years now. He's just finally having a healthy enough season to really call it a most improved season. Jaylen Johnson keeps up on this path. There's a real chance that we could define him as one of those guys, a real all-star, all-NBA talent. If he keeps his numbers at 23, 10, and 8, he should make an all-NBA team, to be honest with you. It's a pretty incredible case he's got. We're going to go talk about another guy now who also may make an all-NBA team. Austin Reaves, Los Angeles Lakers. I almost called him Austin Rivers. This man is averaging 28 points per game with 7 assists and 5.5 rebounds while shooting 50, 37, 87 splits. Another guy who's become really good at getting to the free throw line, and he knows how to work those angles. Austin Reaves is one of the most efficient scorers in the NBA. His points per shot attempt is in the 98th percentile. Supreme efficiencies in his game. He's shooting 75% at the rim, 53% in the mid-range, 86th percentile in effective field goal percentage at 58.7%. He's been insane when he shoots the ball. So far this season, Luka's missed time to be a good father. LeBron's missed time because of father time. The only one who's been there consistently all year, Austin Reaves, and he's been amazing running the offense. Reaves' usage rate is basically at 30%. He's getting the ball more than ever. They've given him the keys to the offense for the most part when Luka sits or LeBron sits. This can be Austin Reaves' team, honestly. An elite free throw shooter, an elite foul baiter. That's what I'm going to call him. He's a foul baiter. And on top of that, he's averaging a shooting foul on over 18% of his shot attempts. Almost 20% of his shot attempts, he's drawing a foul. It's good enough for the 98th percentile. Not many guys in the league better at drawing free throws than Austin Reaves types. He's become really good at knowing how to flail his body at the right time or pull up at the right time, get the hand in the cookie jar foul. Now, obviously, there's one downside in Austin Reaves' game. He still can't guard a paper towel. He can't. He's not really the best defensive player I've ever seen, but he's carrying the Lakers offense for a good amount of this season with LeBron and Luka missing time. It's been Austin Reaves' team this year for the most part when Luka isn't there. Up next, Jalen Duren, who has a real chance of winning the award, I would say. Last season, Duren averaged 12 points, 10 rebounds on a nice 69% field goal shooting. This season, everything's up. Jalen Duren's averaging 18.5 points with 11 rebounds as well. Both the rebounding and the points have taken a tick up. He's averaging a shade over 4 offensive rebounds per game. He gets a lot of his scoring from those offensive rebounds, put back dunks, stuff like that. He's even stepped out and decided to take more jumpers this season, which I like to see. I like to see him step out and hit the mid-range every once in a while. It's beautiful. He's a straight-up bully in the paint, but he's also not afraid to dribble. I remember this little 1-2 he put on Onyeka Okongwu after grabbing an offensive rebound against the Hawks. It was one of the slicker moves that I've ever seen out of a big man that looks like Jalen Duren. There's not many guys in the league that look like him with the broad shoulders. So far this season, Jalen Duren has had 11 games of 20-plus points, as well as 13 double-doubles on the season. He's been absolutely incredible at filling up the stat sheet, and he's doing it really efficiently as well. He's not harming his team. He's getting all the rebounds that they need. He's become one of the most tough players to guard in the league just because of how well he uses that size. Per 100 possessions, the Pistons' offense is about 9 points better with Duren on the floor, and their defense is 6.5 points better with Duren on the floor. The guy just raises the ceiling and the floor of this team. His net rating per 100 possessions is plus 15.2. That's absolutely insane. It's over the 90th percentile in the NBA. Duren has been one of the most productive players in the league this year. I think he has a real chance of winning the award, but I think there's a couple guys ahead of him. He's become a feature scorer when I don't think anyone thought that was in the cards for him. Like, I didn't think there was any expectation of Duren being almost a 20-a-game guy, but here we are with him averaging closer to 19. There was a chance that Jalen Duren would just be like a Steven Adams type of player, like a really good rebounder who doesn't really score the ball. 8 points, 12 rebounds type of guy. No, he's become a feature scorer. He's become the second best scorer on the Pistons. It's insane, his development this year. Penultimate one, Deni Avdija. Deni's currently averaging 25, 6 assists, and 7 rebounds while shooting 47, 37, 81 splits. Pretty damn good. The Blazers gave Deni the keys to the offense, and he's done it really well. Deni's currently averaging 25 points per game. His previous career high was 17. That's 8 more points than he averaged last season. Deni is also a downhill player. He loves fast breaks and runouts and stuff like that, but he's also become really good in the half court. He's taking more mid-range shots than ever. Less rim attempts, more mid-range shots. I don't mind that. A lot of floaters. Deni's usage rate is in the 95th percentile, as the Blazers have been super injured, and they've need Deni to carry the load. We always knew Deni had this ability to score, but we really didn't know if he could do it in a half-court setting. For a while, I just saw him as a guy who was good on runouts and fast breaks, but would struggle in a half-court. Now, this year, he's done really well, and he's figuring out reads and how to move the ball properly and stuff like that. Like, he's become really good at just knowing the offense. I think the Deni Avdija breakout was predictable, but not predictable at the same time. I thought last year would be his breakout, and it was a great season for him, but it wasn't quite what we expected. This season, 25 per game, not expected at all. He's their leading scorer, he's their best player, and he's been leading them to some moderate success this season, I'll say. Deni's got a little bit of a mean streak in him here and there. I've seen him grab every once in a while. He grabs legs. He's not afraid to do it. Deni Avdija is a really good basketball player. He's become the Portland Trailblazers All-Star representative. Like, he's probably going to make the All-Star game this year. And it's because of the fact that he's become a lot better in the half court and how to run pick and rolls, high screen and roll, and get buckets out of that rather than working in just a full court after misses. And lastly, the guy who I think should win the Most Improved Player award still, I voted him earlier. If I had a vote, I would give it to this guy. It's Ryan Rollins from the Milwaukee Bucks. Over his first 3 seasons in the NBA, Ryan Rollins averaged 5, 1, and 1. That's it. 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. This season, Ryan Rollins is averaging 16 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists per game. I had those flipped. It is 6 assists, 4 rebounds, my bad. He's also averaging a shade under 2 steals per game at about 1.7. Ryan Rollins has become a very good player, and especially in the mid-range. He loves getting in the mid-range, and he can knock down and around the free throw line. He's shooting efficiently, too. He's shooting 47 from the field, 39 from 3, and 78 from the free throw line. It's a pretty damn good shooting season, and the Bucks have needed perimeter scorers. I like Kyle Kuzma a little bit. He's all right. I like Kevin Porter Jr. He can go every once in a while, but Ryan Rollins has been probably their best perimeter scorer without Giannis. In his first 3 seasons in the NBA, Ryan Rollins had 2 games of 20-plus points. This season, he has 10 games of 20-plus points. It's been incredible to see his production tick up, and it's all because he decided to stop shoplifting from fucking Target. He's been a good playmaker, too. He has 11 games of 7 or more assists, and he's averaging 6 assists per game with less than 3 turnovers. Better than a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. I'll take that every day. I'll take that every day and on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? It's really good production. He's hitting his threes at a really efficient clip as well. 39% is pretty impressive, and it's nice to see a guy who barely got burned in his first few seasons almost be like a fringe all-star type of guy this year. I think it'd be really good pairing if he could play with a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Unfortunately, Giannis isn't there and really hasn't been there this season, but I think he would match really well with him. His ability to shoot off the ball, his ability to create with the ball and really help Giannis. It's fun to see how he developed. I got to ask him one question. I'd ask, did Damian Lillard influence him in any way? Like, did Damian Lillard teach him stuff? Because there's some moments where I really see some flashes of like, whoa, that's something Dame would do. That's like a Dame move. But Ryan Rollins is a little bit bigger, obviously. He's really athletic, too. I really like the way Ryan Rollins has just kind of changed his whole career overnight, and it's because the Bucks gave him a chance. This is what the Most Improved Player Award's about. I know there's some guys here that are like fringe all-stars last year that became full all-stars. Sometimes they really give those guys Most Improved Player. Ryan Rollins is an MIP guy, a guy who was not on anyone's map, is now averaging 17. He wasn't on anyone's radar before the season as a breakout unless you're like a Bucks fan. I understand some people may want like Deni or other guys because they've become all-stars. But Ryan Rollins is a fringe all-star who almost was out of the league. I think that's the best part about it. He was almost out of the league. The guy was hanging on by a thread. Hopefully it's not a shoplifted thread. All right, that's enough with this video. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to catch you again. See you guys in the next one.